Okay, so Southampton won at Chelsea 0 at St Mary's this Saturday lunchtime kickoff, and does the jinx continue? Maybe, maybe not, because yes, we didn't win, but we didn't lose. This is just a really weird game to analyse, I'm not going to lie, from a Chelsea perspective, because I did predict a 1-1 draw in this one, because if you are a Chelsea fan, you will know we have a bit of a jinx where when we play teams that are on really poor form, like Southampton have been in recent weeks, they've lost 6 games in a row in the Premier League, and for some reason we seem to just be charity FC against these teams, and we seem to give them 3 points, which very nearly was the case today, because of course Takumi Minamino's goal definitely raised a few pulses in the Chelsea fan base, let me tell you. But overall we got the point in the end. I think it probably was a fair result overall, because I don't think we were good enough to win the game. And yeah, I think that overall it's a really weird game to analyse from a Chelsea perspective, because does the jinx continue? As I said, maybe, maybe not, but I'll let you guys decide in the comment section below. But here we go, analysing Southampton 1, Chelsea 0 at St Mary's, a point that does keep us in the top 4 at this moment in time. But if West Ham were to beat Spurs tomorrow, then of course West Ham would go above us. But yeah, overall we'll start on this game with the lineups, because I think there was a lot of surprises both from Chelsea and Southampton's lineups in this game. First of all, Thomas Tuchel well and truly has an eye on that tie on Tuesday night against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League with his team selection, because Kurt Zouma, N'Golo Kante, Edouard Mendy, and who was the other one? I think it was Reece James as well, actually. Yeah, he came into the team as well. So there was a lot of changes from the Chelsea perspective. I think the Hudson-Odoi, Christensen and Jorginho were the 3 main guys that were, you could say dropped, but I would more say rested for the game against Atletico Madrid, because I fully expect those 3 to come back into the team for that game against Atletico Madrid. And I think from Southampton's point of view, I think Ralph Hasenhüttl well and truly tried to match us with that 3-4-3 system, and I think the main option for him was to have Moussa Djenepo in that right wing back position, because of course Timo Werner was always going to play in that kind of left inverted winger role, and of course with Werner's pace, which absolutely terrorised Newcastle on Monday night in the Premier League, I think it was, customary that he was going to put someone with the pace of Djenepo, obviously because Werner's main strength in that position is dribbling down the line and whipping it into the box, and Djenepo, really did a good job on that, in fairness, because I don't think Werner was going to take him on with the pace he knows Djenepo does possess. But yeah, overall in the first half I think it was an absolutely terrible performance, if I'm honest. I mean, it was just absolutely horrific in the final third. We had no sense of creativity whatsoever, void of ideas, if I'm honest. To be honest, the main thing I could actually use to sum up the first half was the fact that I think Kurt Zouma, Antonio Rudiger and Cesar Azpilicueta, of course the 3 centre-backs today, I'm pretty sure they probably had the most touches by 2 or 3 times what the attackers had for Chelsea, because it was mainly just passing sideways and backwards with the back 3 and the midfielders as well at stages. It was just absolutely terrible in the first half from Chelsea, if I'm honest, and I purely do believe, even though Southampton's goal was their first shot, it was their first shot in the entire game, probably the 3rd or 4th time Southampton actually managed to get into our half, and Takumi Minamino slots it away. Absolutely horrendous defensive awareness from Kurt Zouma. I mean, he just gets done specially by Takumi Minamino, who breaks in between the middle of Zouma and Azpilicueta. Does really well, in fairness. Minamino is a really classy finish. He gets acres of space, but he uses it really well, and of course absolutely sent Azpilicueta and Mendy to the absolute shops with that fake shot he did, and then the outside of his foot does put it in for 1-0. And even though Southampton, it was their first shot of the game, and in terms of stats and all that, it was probably against the run of play, but I purely do believe we did deserve it. It was a good wake-up call for us, because yeah, as I said, we were absolutely shambolic in the first half, especially in the final third. There was no creativity, absolutely nothing was done, and I think we definitely needed changes at half-time, bearing in mind the fact we were 1-0 down as well. And yeah, I can definitely understand the half-time change from Thomas Tuchel to bring off Tammy Abraham, who, didn't really get involved. I do have a bit of sympathy for him, because first of all, you could argue he wasn't even fully fit, because with that injury he sustained against Newcastle on Monday night, it did look like he was going to be out for a few weeks minimum, but he did get the start. And to be honest, again, he didn't really get to, get involved in the game, simply because with, the lack of creativity in the final third, he wasn't really involved, he didn't really get any service, but I do think it was the right change to put Hudson-Odoi on the pitch and put Werner down the middle, where he had to, didn't really have to deal with the pace of Djenepo and could do more up front, and I think he definitely was decent enough today, Werner. I don't think he was as good, of course, as he was against Newcastle on Monday night, but he definitely did show bright spells during the game, and of course, as he usually does, ran his socks off for the 90 minutes. And then the second half, I feel like we were a little bit better. We actually were creating chances this time. We were breaking into the final third, and at least looking a bit more sharp in the final third. I think Mount was really good in that case. Alonso and James down the right wing back and left wing back positions were at least trying to get in there and trying to create chances. I think Werner was okay. Hudson-Odoi was not as good today as he usually was, and he did get taken off after just 20 minutes of coming on, which really did surprise me, because it didn't look like he was injured, but he definitely wasn't bad enough to justify him being hooked off the pitch. So I'd be really interested to hear Thomas Tuchel's thinking of that one, and I'm sure one of the journalists will ask him that post-match interview, which will be very interesting to hear. It must have been tactical, because I can't see the fact that he was taken off, especially with the fact that Hudson-Odoi has really been reinvigorated under Thomas Tuchel. He seems to be one of the favourites in the starting 11, and he definitely will start against Atletico Madrid in midweek. But yeah, in terms of the actual standout players, I think that I have 2 joint man of the matches. Number 1, N'Golo Kante, absolutely immense performance, and the joint man of the match for me. No coincidence, it's a pivot with Mateo Kovacic that that, brought the best out of N'Golo Kante. He was well and truly back to his best today, especially in the first half when we were so poor. He was so good, he was so sharp, he was dogged, tenacious, aggressive, winning the ball back, and not only that, on the ball he was very good in his distribution as well. And in the second half, I thought he just kept it up. He was absolutely exceptional today, N'Golo Kante, and I think if that's a sign of what's to come in this Thomas Tuchel system, then I think we will really start to see a world-class N'Golo Kante back in this midfield pivot. The other man of the match for me was Mason Mount. Once again, I mean, it goes without saying at this stage, Mason Mount, if you don't rate him at this stage, you just don't know any sort of ball knowledge. I mean, I'm sorry, Mason Mount is honestly an absolute baller. Yes, he doesn't contribute to goals as much as he probably should, but he got the penalty goal today and actually won the penalty as well, which I definitely want to get onto. It was a definite pen in my opinion, just a poor tackle from Ings. You could tell it was a striker's challenge in the box on Mason Mount, and the penalty, of course, coolly dispatched by Mason Mount. Yeah, we started the second half quite brightly actually, so it was kind of deserved, and yeah, from that moment, it kind of died off a little bit. We did create a few chances, but back onto Mason Mount, once again showing his quality both on and off the ball. I've always said on this channel, his pressing ability off the ball is absolutely world class. He showed glimpses of skill as well, which of course is probably one of the reasons why, the aesthetic football fans don't really tend to like Mason Mount, because he doesn't do 100 step overs, he doesn't do these flicks and tricks all the time, but I think we definitely did see that today, and overall I think that it was the absolutely perfect performance from Mason Mount and N'Golo Kante, and that is why I can't really split them in terms of the man of the match. I think they were both just absolutely unreal. In terms of Southampton's performance, because of course, as much as I'm a Chelsea fan, I do want to, give a little bit of praise to Southampton. I think they contained us reasonably well over the game. I think in the first half they didn't have much to deal with, to be honest, because I think we were so bad in the first half. They didn't really make us panic that much, but in saying that, they did have a few chances here and there, especially in the second half. It was Vestergaard's header that hit the crossbar. They exploited our defensive weaknesses really, really well with, of course, Takumi Minamino's goal, and to be honest, I think with that goal, it proved just how important Thiago Silva is to this Chelsea team, because his organisational skills, not only that, but his reading of the game for centre-back is absolutely second to none. It's absolutely world-class, and I think that it's no surprise that we've conceded both our goals in the Thomas Tuchel era from absolutely shambolic defending when Thiago Silva hasn't been in the team, and I think that definitely goes without saying today. But yeah, I think the one thing we can take from this game going into midweek against Atletico Madrid, I'm not really that confident, but at the same time, I'm a lot more confident than I was, a few weeks back when we were losing games week in, week out. It's definitely going to be very interesting to see, will we keep the 3-4-3 or will we go for a bit of a 4-3-3 against Atletico? It'll be very interesting to see how Thomas Tuchel sets up tactically and of course in terms of the formation during the week. And the game next weekend against Manchester United on Sunday is going to be absolutely massive now, because even if today can be considered 2 points dropped, I think every Chelsea fan will agree with me in saying that, but I think that this result will mean absolutely nothing if we were to beat Manchester United next weekend, because United do play Newcastle at home if I do check my stats here. So yeah, currently Manchester United are 3 points above us with that game in hand against Newcastle this weekend, and let's be honest, barring absolute miracle, United will take 3 points in that one, which means they will be 6 points ahead of us, which means that if we do beat them next Sunday, we will just be 3 points behind them, which would just be absolutely exceptional. Yeah, of course, another thing to remember as well is we still haven't tasted defeat under Thomas Tuchel as Chelsea manager. We won our last 5 games, 6 in all competitions, but 5 in the Premier League. And just the first actual proper goal we have conceded under Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea, and there's definitely positives to take from this game, even though, in the first half it was just absolutely dreadful, especially in the final third, especially in terms of our overall creativity. But in the second half, I think it was a little bit better. We were creating more chances, and as I said multiple times on this channel in Chelsea post-match reaction videos, I think the clinical edge is definitely something that will come with time, obviously, for Thomas Tuchel to implement this system into his Chelsea squad. And yeah, so I think that is where we're going to end this video now. So if you did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like. As per usual, 20 likes on this video would be massively appreciated by myself, and also if you could subscribe to the channel, that would also be hugely appreciated as well, because we are now looking to hit 1,500 subscribers on this channel as soon as we possibly can. So if you were to hit that subscribe button right now, it would cost you absolutely nothing and would make my day, so it is very much a win-win situation. And yeah, Chelsea continue the run in the top 4, but 2 points dropped, you could say, against the Southampton side, who didn't really test us, but at the same time we did make it hard for ourselves overall. But we take the point, we move on to Atletico Madrid in midweek, a massive game, and then we play United next Sunday, and yeah, see ya.